Hi, my name is Sweta, and I'm going to go over Unit 1, Parts of an Argument, as a part of English 2 Phoenix. So first, we're going to be going over the parts of an argument. The next, we're going to review logical fallacies. Third, we're going to identify parts of an argument in a visual example. And lastly, we're going to identify parts of an argument in argumentative text. So firstly, I'm going to go over the parts of an argument in order to give you a background and help you identify other things that I have not done in argumentative text and other visual examples. So firstly, the claim is the opinion or primary statement used to support an argument. Reasoning is a vague or broad statement that supports the claim. Evidence is specific details from text, personal experiences that would support the reasons, such as reliable internet sources, news, history. Counter-arguments are a set of reasons or evidence put forward to oppose ideas or theories developed in other arguments. Concession is when the author agrees with some of the opposing argument's claim. The refutation is when the author proves that an opposing argument is false. And lastly, the call to action is when the author makes a final appeal to the audience's values as they bring the argument to a close. So next, I'm going to review some logical fallacies, and these are not all that are given, but these are just a few that I think you should know. So incorrect premise is when the proposition used in the argument is not correct, and so this results in an untrue conclusion. A red herring is the use of irrelevant information in an attempt to shift the attention of the audience in a new direction. For example, if you look at the picture above, the child is wanting that toy, but instead the mother, in an attempt to shift the attention of the child, says that there's a yummy treat at home. So moral equivalence is a fallacy that creates an equivalence between two subjects based on false reasoning, suggesting that both are equal. Hasty generalization is a logical fallacy that occurs when a conclusion is drawn based on a small sample. Bandwagon appeal is when the speaker tries to convince the audience to partake in an action because everyone else does it. And lastly, ad hominem is when a fallacy used when the speaker attacks another individual rather than their argument or proposition. Next, we're going to look at a parts of an argument in a visual example. So in this Honey Nut Cheerios, it claims that by eating the cereal, it's going to reduce an individual's cholesterol and reduce the risk of heart disease, making it the ideal option to purchase in a store. So firstly, lowering the cholesterol is a reason used to support the claim and prompt buyers to purchase cereal for its health benefits that do not have any credibility. As you can tell, there is no FDA stamp or approval or any other organization that says that it is correct. Next is this America's favorite cereal. This bandwagon appeal is used in order to prompt the audience to buy the advertised cereal, as everyone else in America seems to do the same. But once again, there's no source or evidence used to back this claim. Pathos, or the appeal to emotions, is utilized in order to make the buyer feel left out if they do not buy the cereal, to feel more unified or share a common feature with other Americans. This use of with whole grain guaranteed. The use of whole grain is a reason as to why the buyer should consider buying the product, as many people look for the nutritional value with the ever-rising health epidemic in the United States. So appealing to one's desire to be healthier may prompt the buyer to purchase this cereal. And lastly, evidence illustrated on the front to show and back up its reasoning of being nutritious and good for consumption. As you can tell, the specific nutritional evidence is only a highlight and does not display the other nutritional elements that may or may not be harmful to one's health. So these are all reasoning and does not include any concession or call to action, but it does include evidence and reasoning in order to support the claim. Next, we're going to look at the parts of an argument in argumentative text. So we're going to be looking at a video game debate transcript. So as you can tell here, the original thing is, will video games make us smarter? Yes or no? So the person that I'm going to be identifying and identifying the parts of an argument in is a person who is named Elias. I do not want to say his last name, I'm sorry, but he is against this, and he says that video games do not make us smarter and in fact impair our ability to make everyday decisions. So firstly, His reason number one is that technology is harmful and it does not make us smarter as it confuses people with life and is similar to bad habits such as substance abuse and gambling addictions. And so another reason is that it can negatively affect socializing, relationships, performance, job performance, etc. And that the evidence is that American Academy of Pediatrics has issued a advisory strictly curtailing and limiting the time that kids can spend online as through research that it negatively affects all this stuff such as socializing, relationships, academic performance, etc. And so next, they do not say or clearly say that video games make us dumber, but instead they use it and percolate this idea through many of their reasoning. But they do say that technology has had an impact that's not necessarily positive and it is harmful. So that they say that evidence to support this reasoning is that it's not had a beneficial impact on people's intelligence, and it's said by psychiatrists and mental health professionals, which provides a evidence and a credible resource. Next is that saying that technology and video games has impaired our writing and attention span, and it says that interferes with language's purpose to communicate through the use of bitmojis, emojis, and shortened communicational methods. Next, it says that memory has been altered or transformed, and so it says that they have been working with medical students using personal experiences as evidence in order to support their reasoning that memory has been altered, negatively altered. And so it says that they believe that it's not really necessary for students or people to be able to memorize or think, which decreases the mental capability or capacity of people as they no longer have the need to memorize certain information as it's all available online. Next is their refutation that the supporting side does not really have any long-term evidence to support their claim, therefore they can't be trusted as it's too small, too short-term, and too non-representative of the totality of humanity currently online for the statement to be accurate or trusted. And so lastly, the speaker uses a call to action in order to vote no on the motion, saying that video games does not make us smarter and that there's many costs and things that alter our behavior and our mental capacity and capability and is negatively impacting us in society in many different ways as mentioned in all of the reasons and given evidence. So as all, we can be able to identify reasoning, claims, refutations, and certain evidence that appeals to audiences' pathos, logos, ethos, and other fallacies in order to prompt the audience to believe what the speaker is wanting. For instance, in the video game debate, they want you to say no, that video games does not make us smarter. And on the other hand, in the visual example, it is prompting the audience to want to buy the Honey Nut Cheerios. So this is Unit 1 of... Is this even recording? Bro, what the fuck? Oh,